Okay, everyone's had a chance to review the minutes from the previous meeting? Okay, is there a motion to accept the minutes from February 16, 2023?
I'll make that motion.
Charlie, did you make the edits we talked about?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passed. Okay, we have a hearing, a continued hearing from DI Trust Comprehensive Conservation Subdivision, which seeks to construct 135 single-family houses. Outback Engineering has requested a continuance to our April 20th, 2003 meeting.
Correction, DI Trust requested the continuance.
Okay, all right, DI Trust. DI Trust has requested a continuance until April 20th meeting. Okay, is there a motion to continue?
Motion to continue.
Second, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, continued. Okay, we have another hearing that was continued from Reed Brother Farms Limited Liability Partnership, file number 17-447. Outback Engineering has requested a further continuance until our April 20th meeting. Is there a motion to continue?
Motion to continue.
Okay, I heard Bill first. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Continued. Yet another hearing that has been continued. It was an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation and NRAD by Leopold Speck, 1130 Bridge Street, map 8, lot 6-2. Resources include but are not limited to the BVW 100-foot inner riparian and 200-foot outer riparian zones and mean annual high water of the Segregansett River, file number 17-465. Holmgren Engineering LLC has requested a continuance to our April 20th meeting.
We do have one thing. I guess the site was looked at by Beta, and they will be hopefully making those changes. Holmgren will make those changes before the next meeting.
Okay, so it's in the works so that maybe
Yeah.
next month we can continue it.
Right.
Is there a motion to continue?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, we have another continued hearing, and it's an NRAD application by Dean Smith Dayton Energy Storage 1 LLC for 0 Maynard Lane, map 1, lots 82, then 82-7 and 96, DEP file number 17476. Beta submitted a work scope and cost estimate for this project on February 28th. They will review the 2,142 linear feet of wetland resource area boundaries and inspect for additional resource areas that may not be delineated. Prepare a report for this finding and attend one public hearing to address this report. The estimated cost of the services is $4,700. Okay, we need a vote
Mr. Chairman.
to establish a 53G account in that amount requested.
Mr. Chairman. My agenda is, I guess my agenda is not the same as yours.
Okay, I was reading off the, okay, let me just check here. I was reading off the earlier one that I had received at home 2 days ago. It was a preview, and I was marking that up. Did anyone else find anything different that I had read? Okay.
Mine says the same thing.
Okay.
Jim?
I'm just looking at what I just read and what it, 228, 2,100, no, they're the same. It's the same. Okay, is there a motion to vote to set up a 53G account in the amount of $4,700?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Okay, passed. Okay, so Charlie, that's, you're gonna set that up? Okay. Now we have another continued hearing. It's an NRAD application by RJR Properties, 0 Old Horton Street, map 7, lots 36 and 36-1, DEP file number 17-475. Okay,
I believe Brandon already presented this last week, and we
okay.
have the estimates that you guys voted on getting.
Okay, at our previous meeting, we had voted to have a peer review, check this property out, and we have two estimates that came in, one from Nova and one from Schmiel. Okay, what is really before us is which of these two we are going to accept as our peer review to view this site at Old Horton Street. That is the item before us. Brandon, I'm going to take a vote first on this, and then I'll hear from you.
I've reviewed the wetland flags, with Mr. Fanoff.
The commission voted to have a peer review person,
I don't recall the vote. I remember Lisa saying she didn't have time to do it.
and the
so
commission
I
vote,
contacted them two members and, told them that I had time and I thought I would do it.
the commission is in charge of determining what is going on. At the last meeting, the commission voted
I don't
to
recall
have
the
a
vote,
peer
Mr.
review.
Chairman.
I'm sorry?
I don't recall a vote.
Well, you did take a vote, and as a matter of fact, not only did you vote positive to have a peer review, you just approved the minutes that says that. So you are out of order.
No.
You had no right to supersede or try to supersede the commission in what the commission voted.
I
The
didn't
commission,
try. I called Charlie and asked Charlie's advice, and he agreed with me that we shouldn't have a peer review for a single house lot.
It isn't.
he voted along with the commission
Point of
to
order.
have a peer review.
It's not a single house lot, it's 17 acres.
It what?
17 acres.
The only thing we should be concerned about is the impact of the house.
We don't
on the
have a
wetlands.
house proposal.
We don't have that. We have an NRAD, which is the site wetland delineation, which
Charlie?
means
I'd like to
walking the
hear what
entire
you have
site,
to say.
viewing the whole site.
You called me and asked me to go with you to the site.
I couldn't hear you.
I never agreed to go to the site or agreed to do what you're doing.
Yes, you
The
did.
commission voted. The commission
No, I
voted.
don't recall
You
a vote.
can-
I don't recall a vote.
Then go back and review the video, because members have viewed the video, and you voted to pad the peer review. And you just approved the minutes of the previous meeting,
Oh,
which
you got me,
says,
Jim. You really got me good.
well, or do we have you good for trying to supersede the commission,
I
an
didn't try
individual trying to supersede the
commission's
commission?
vote. I called Charlie and I called Dave. I asked
Yeah, I was
Dave if he
excited
would
to
come
go out
along
there and
with
look
me.
at 52
Because
flags.
it was it would have been extremely instrumental for Dave to have a
Okay, I am
What, is
ruling
that-
you
is that
out of
against the
order,
commission
and,
To do that?
okay, I am ruling Bill out of order. He had no right to go out and try to supersede the vote of the commission. What we have before us is a peer review, and we are going to select one of these two to do the peer review for the site at Old Horton Street, so that NRED can be formally approved. I don't know if you've had time to check these two.
I emailed them both to everybody, I believe. If
Okay.
not, take a look
Okay.
at it.
Okay, do you have a recommendation as to,
No.
which? Okay. So we have one from, Marty Nova, and that one is at 2350, and we have the, Lisa, do you have the name of the second peer review?
Stephen Schmiel, he doesn't have a business name. Stephen Schmiel?
Is he, okay. Okay. Can I?
Thank you, sir.
I got yours. You got mine. I already marked mine up. Oh, yours.
Okay. Is there a motion to accept one of these?
Well, which one are we accepting?
Well, make a motion to accept one of them.
One is cheaper than the other.
Right.
Yep. Schmiel is not to exceed 2,000, Marty Nova is 2350. We've had work done, a great deal of work by Marty Nova. We know the quality of her work.
I do have a question, and the treasurer may be able, we are lucky enough to have the treasurer on as an associate member.
We're on the spot now, uh-oh.
Okay. Can the town have someone review that doesn't have a, do you have to have an 04 number? Do you need professional liability insurance?
Not necessarily that I am aware of.
Okay.
They would need to do a W-9,
Yeah? Yeah,
but
okay.
I'm not, other than that, I wouldn't want to speak authoritatively because I'm not the procurement officer, but,
Oh,
I
who
don't believe
is?
so. It'd be Mike Mullen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Can I have that back?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hourly rate, not to exceed $2,000.
But Lisa, at that amount, it shouldn't need to,
Okay,
Meetings and other out-of-scope services, portal to portal, $100. Portal to portal, so there's mileage involved.
is there attendance at a meeting, or what is the scope involved? What do you,
Schmiel is a decent consultant.
he's been doing a lot over here, yeah.
The lowest bid.
Okay, then make a motion to have a 53G account set up in the amount of $2,000.
I make a motion to set up a 53G account in the amount of $2,000 for Stephen Schmiel.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
I'm sorry?
Abstain.
Okay, Bill, please note that Bill abstained from the vote. Okay,
Thanks, Brandon.
Brandon, okay, don't want to speak now?
I think we're done for the night. aren't we?
Okay, well, I didn't know if you had something else to say, but I was just continuing from the previous motion that we had on dealing with the peer review, and I didn't want to, I wanted to do that first, but since you think that we are all set, we are.
I don't think there's anything I can do otherwise.
Okay,
All right.
okay. So you know the amount that is requested for the 53G?
Not to exceed 2,000.
So that would be 2,000 in the 53G. And then whatever, if it doesn't, whatever it is, you get the difference back.
Okay.
You want a copy of this?
Nope. Have a good night.
Okay. Okay, we have a new hearing of Brook Street Solar, request for an amended order of conditions from Level Design on behalf of GHT JA03 LLC, that's Grasshopper Energy, and the property owner, Manuel and Louise Andres Trust, file number 17-404. The request includes expansion of work to include site plan modifications to expand the approved limit of clearing, new 14-foot wide gravel driveway extension, and a 15-inch RCP drainage culvert, and additional tree trimming within the 100-foot wetland buffer zone. The applicant also requests a one-year extension as the project will expire March 25th, 2023, as there is still ongoing site work and stabilization work which needs to occur. Is someone here to address them?
Nope, I can give you an update. Okay, so I was in attendance at the stormwater meeting yesterday, and there were a number of back and forth comments. Bottom line is there are some concerns about the basins and the stormwater design, so the plans are gonna change, and because the plans are going to change, I spoke with the engineer and asked him if it would make more sense for him to just come back to us once they've changed, based on the peer review that's being done through stormwater. So they requested a continuance yesterday to our April 20th meeting.
Okay,
However, they did ask that we continue to consider and approve their request for the one-year extension.
okay, so we can do the one-year extension now?
Yeah.
And the rest of it will this looks like almost a new notice of intent. There's so much that they want to change. The roadway, the cutting, the drainage pipe,
Well, what's happened is they, in a nutshell, because they have a battery energy storage facility that they've added, they need to meet the town requirements as far as unvegetated land around it. They can't put the battery storage in and have pine trees, fire hazard. So due to the fire safety codes and all that. So they have to expand their footprint to include a buffer. But in addition to that, they did ask to trim and top some trees in the back of the property, in the south end of the property. So we can talk about it more in
okay,
April.
so what we'll do now is extend, we can take a vote to a one-year extension on their order of conditions. We can do that now, and then the rest will be, then the rest of the hearing will be continued.
Yep.
Okay, do I have a motion to
Open and continue.
no, to extend their order of conditions for 1 year, to extend it for 1 year to March of 2024?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Great.
No vote?
I voted aye.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Mr. Chairman, question? May I ask you a question about this?
We're going to continue the rest of the hearing. This was only an extension for 1 year for their notice of intent.
I understand that. There's two different pieces of land involved. I think you need continuing for a year is fine, extending the date. Nancy Goulart, Stormwater Committee Chairman. But when I look at this, the way you've got it worded on your agenda, Brick Street Solar, Grasshopper, that's the Manuel and Louise Andrews, not Andrus, Andrews Trust. That's where the panels are. What Mrs. Caldonia also described is the second piece of property they bought to the west that they want to clear to make the fire break. So continuing is fine, but when this comes up next month, you need to address the property where the panels are, that's the Andrews Trust, and then the land that's going to be cleared is now property of Grasshopper. So it's not one whole thing together. The town recognizes the two separate parcels for tax purposes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Nancy.
Yeah.
Okay, Charlie, you're gonna make that note for the minutes? Okay, for the rest of the project, do I have a motion to continue to our April 20th meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, pass. Okay, so we have two things here. Continued, extended. Okay, so what we have is a continuation, extended 1 year for their notice of intent and a continued on the changes that they wish to make. Okay, we have a new hearing, Taunton Yacht Club, Water Street, notice of intent. The applicant is proposing to spread and grade dredged materials on, let's see, is this pervious? Is that what you want, or previous? Okay, on pervious areas within the property limits, as well as install 2 metal storage containers. The work proposed is within the 100-foot of the coastal bank and salt marsh resource area and 200-foot riverfront area and coastal land subject to flooding associated with the Taunton River, as well as the commission bylaw 25-foot undisturbed vegetation zone of these resource areas. DEP file number 17-477. Do you have the Gazette? Papers?
The edited copies, paper copies that we can put up so they can look at them. Are they all the same?
They're all the
same.
They had paid. You said paid, correct?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
You need that.
Okay, all right. And abutters?
We do have a DEP file number now.
Yeah, I
Did you
have
read
it
off?
here.
Okay,
477.
great.
Are you ready for me?
Alrighty.
All right. My name's Maggie Laracy. I'm with Crocker Design Group. I'm representing Bob Bedard with the Taunton Yacht Club. I don't know if you remember me. I was in front of you guys in November for the certificate of compliance for the dredging at the Taunton Yacht Club, which you guys granted. Tonight I'm here for the notice of intent for the approval to spread the dredge material within the property limits. We did a walkthrough with Lisa and a couple of you on Monday to go over the scope of the project. So we first started out by installing a 25 silt sock at the 25 no-foot, no-touch buffer to the coastal bank and salt marsh. We also are proposing to remove one of the metal containers that is within the 25-foot buffer right now, and we'd be replacing that with another one, but it would be outside of that no-touch zone. And then we would be spreading the dredged material in the low spots, just the pervious areas. We wouldn't be increasing the driveway or any impervious area. It would be about 23,500 square feet of grading. The same drainage patterns would be proposed, would just be raising a little, filling in some of the low spots, and loaming and seeding those areas as soon as possible to stabilize so that we don't have erosion and end up with the same issue of dredged material or materials within the river. And as your bylaw requires, we would be installing signage at the 30-foot intervals along the 25-foot buffer. And we discussed with Lisa on Monday doing some plantings behind the trailers. It's kind of, there's some trash and debris back there, but cleaning that up, doing some plantings and some seeding behind those trailers to kind of restore that area.
Them two little squares, the metal containers.
Yep, so these are the metal containers I was talking about, and this is the area here that
I know that area, but what are the containers for?
they're just their storage.
I can't hear you when you...
One metal container would be for storage for the function supplies, the kitchen supplies that we have to have on hand. And the other storage container would be for the maintenance and equipment for the yacht club itself.
Are these going to be like those railroad car trailers that you just open up and,
Xboxes, yes.
okay.
Metal, yes, metal, they're 8x20 metal storage containers, yes.
Okay. Now, you're only going to be adding into the depressed areas and with the fill and not making mounds that are going to be shedding water off into other areas.
No, pretty much just try to level off the property as such and utilize the material that we have.
And if you have more than what you need to level, are you going to remove it off-site?
We will have to look at that at the time because yes, we will do our best to get it off-site.
So I'm a little concerned about containers still being in the 25-foot no touch.
Yeah, so this is, we haven't revised this plan yet. So our plan, this was the one that's being removed, and then we had proposed it here, but I talked to Bob and we're either gonna put it here or on this side of the trailer, something without outside.
All right.
But I was hoping like that could be conditioned if it's voted tonight, or we could revise it.
Well, yeah, so you can definitely modify the plan after the fact. I just need to make sure the correct plan is the one that's in front of me.
Yep.
As far as the vegetation and the, I know you.
Yeah, we had, I mean, I can add that as
come
well.
up with anything.
No,
Okay.
no, but
So we still need to figure that out. Okay. Now, were you gonna do anything, there was nothing gonna be done over here as far as the 25-foot and
we were just
placing it off?
gonna put the posts up that,
Okay,
mark that out.
Lisa, we were gonna grade that a little bit as far as
yeah.
just leveling it off, because there's some dips and low spots in there as well.
Right,
Nothing more than it is now as far as the height goes.
okay. But is it gonna be a fence or posts that you want that?
We can put post up or we can put a fence up.
So I'd like to know, so the commission knows
I think I prefer posted, that's it, I just keep it the aesthetic of the yacht club.
Yeah.
I think a fence would take away from that, if we just do the post, we'll do the post with the rope to keep it the yacht club
And then
aesthetic.
we have these little signs that we have you put on each post.
That's fine, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just do that.
As far as the gravel and stuff like that, yes, I'm hoping that we don't have any left over, but if we do, we will have to remove it.
Okay.
You've done this before.
Yes.
Okay. How'd it work out?
At the time, we had a landfill that was able to take the material,
I remember that.
and we were able to move it to the, actually, it was the Franklin landfill, and they came and picked up all the material and they hauled it away.
Yeah.
This time here, a lot of the landfills are closed down, and the material can go anywhere. It has to be registered with the DEP Stormwater 401. That would be doing. If we keep it on our property, we don't have to deal with it, but if we move it out, we have to file MSDSs and whatever else.
Can you plant on it, or do you have to cover it with something?
No, I don't have to cover it. What we're looking to do here is basically scrape the loam on the topsoil, and then put this underneath it, and then
Oh, okay.
put the topsoil back on it. So we'll have a good vegetation, some good growth for the vegetation and all.
Okay, what kind of sediment is this? Is this like a sand, or is it a heavy silt mud?
It's a sandy gravel material. It's not clay by any chance. It's
No,
just
it
a
wouldn't
very
be.
sandy gravel material.
Wouldn't be
Okay, now, is there, they're always talking about contamination from years back in the river. Do you anticipate any of that, or?
We have done chemical analyses on it. We did one on the previous material that Bill, I believe it is, mentioned, and we didn't find anything that was high in those levels. And we did one probably 10 years ago in this area that we just dredged, and there was none at that time either. And then the last time I had to do it over again because the permit had expired with the Army Corps and the Storm 401 water quality. And at that time, I only had to do a sieve analysis. The sieve analysis passed the specifications, and in those specifications, a chemical test is not required. So, speaking to the DEP 401 water quality, he says it's not impossible that it could have pockets of material in it, but chances are with that type of material, it may be none at all.
So that means it's safe for dolphins.
Yeah, you don't really know unless you did, and doing a chemical test on it, you could pick, you would do it randomly where you would take the test from on the pile. It wouldn't make any difference because you may never hit a spot at all.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so the changes you're gonna make include adding posts at the 25 foot. Adding some vegetation within the 25 foot and seeding. To help minimize the weeds. And you and I can work on that. And then, what about erosion controls? Did you want us, I'd like to specify them.
Yep. I think I just had silt sock on here.
Perfect, yes.
I think I had staked every 10 feet on center.
Okay, perfect.
How long will it take to dredge and do the filling?
Well, the dredging is done.
Okay,
It's just a matter of hiring a contractor to put the property and get it spread out. So
okay,
hoping to have it done within this year if we can possibly do it, once we get the docks out of the way and all,
okay. Does anyone here on the commission have any questions, any more questions? Lisa, do you have any more?
I might in a second.
Lisa, you also wanted us to try to get rid of that concrete wall.
Oh, yeah, what do you think?
Oh, we do it.
Yeah.
Get that out of there, get that out of there. It's an eyesore anyways.
Yeah, with erosion controls below it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll call out for that to be removed
Okay.
too on the plan.
Is there anyone in the audience that has questions for the applicant?
So we have 21 days from the close of the public hearing to issue the orders. So you and I should really work on this the beginning of next week
Okay.
so that we can have a final plan to give you an order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have a motion to close the hearing and issue an order of conditions?
Motion to close hearing with order of conditions.
Is there a second?
Second that.
All in favor? Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome. Have a good weekend.
Okay. We have a request for determination of applicability by the town of Dayton for proposed sediment sampling at Pleasant Street Bridge over Muddy Cove Brook. Work at the site includes sediment sampling in accordance with the Water Quality Certification Regulations 314 CMR 9.07 to determine future dredging activities and dredge material disposal options, and will be permitted under separate application. Work will be conducted within an area subject to protection.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, and your name is?
My name is Tyler Drew.
I'm sorry?
My name is Tyler Drew. I work with
Hi.
Beta Group. I didn't think to bring an easel, but I'm just going to hold this.
Tyler Group.
So the project is proposing to collect 2 samples from Muddy Cove Brook in support of the future Pleasant Street Bridge replacement project. There was concerns of contamination from the AstraZeneca property upstream of Muddy Cove Brook. So the project is proposing to collect 4 samples total that will be composited into 2 samples. So 2 will be collected upstream from the bridge, composited into 1 sample, and then 2 downstream. The samples will be collected on foot with shovels, no boats, and no vegetation clearing is needed. Be collected at low tide, and no additional impacts are proposed.
Okay, and so what you take out, then, for the most part, it'll get put right back into the,
That's the idea, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Any questions from the commissioners?
The sample, whatever you take, is it a pint, a gallon, what is it?
So the holes are about 2 feet deep at maximum 2 feet deep. It's similar to soil core samples taken during wetland delineations with an auger. So the holes are maybe like a foot around. They're not large holes.
Okay, but they're about a foot wide and 2 feet deep.
And 2 feet deep, yep.
Okay.
And you said there's only gonna be a very limited number of holes?
Yeah, so 4 total, yep.
Okay. Any other questions? Anybody in the audience have questions for the gentleman? Okay, what we're gonna vote on is either to have a negative determination, which means that they can go right ahead and do the work, or a positive determination, which means they must go further and file a notice of intent. Certainly, the chair would request a negative determination so they can do the sampling.
So yes, samples fall under the Wetlands Protection Act as a exempt activity, but not under our local bylaw. So when we do change our bylaw, we might want to consider adding that in as an exemption. But in this case, I would suggest a negative, because it's no different than me taking an auger hole or a spade hole, and they're going in by foot. They're not going in with machines.
Okay. Do I have a motion for a negative determination? or
Motion.
positive.
Motion for negative determination.
Is there a second?
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Who do I send it to?
So you can send it to Tom Ferry, the
Okay.
Highway Department.
All right, thank you.
Okay, now we have to review and approve payment of invoice 1024 from Professional Counseling Services, 24 Temple Road, Orange, Mass. Zip 01364 for services rendered from January 1st to February 19th in the appeal of Strawberry Fields 40B residential development in the amount of $1,062.50. Is there a motion to pay that bill?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
A request by Morris Development LLC for a certificate of compliance at 14 Morris Lane, map 9, block 57, lot 9, for a single-family home and associated grading, utilities, and septic system. Mass DEP 17-439. Hey, Lisa, would you like to speak on that? I'm sure you...
Sure, well, Rick Bissette's here.
Okay.
Yep, but, go ahead, Rick.
Well, we did a walkthrough. It's kind of self-explanatory. We're just looking to wrap it up and get the, get it released from the order of conditions.
Okay, and Lisa, you have been there, and everything is as is, as...
So, yeah, we walked through and the site's stabilized. Mr. Bissett did follow up and send over an email because, as you guys are aware, the DFW permit is attached to these lots. So for the taking of the turtles, or the turtle habitat. So I received a letter from his engineer and from him today saying that they are going to comply with the DFW permit conditions. It was also brought to my attention by doing a little research that the restriction on the, conservation restriction areas, they were supposed to be deeded over to the Conservation Commission, and that was never done.
We asked, that's part of the email, we asked
Right.
for the board to accept, let us deed it over to you. So I guess that's part of the motion we'd be looking for also.
So, it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
So I think we'll have to do that at the next meeting.
That's fine.
But,
We'll be back for the other lots at that meeting
Yeah,
anyway.
it is on the selectmen's agenda as well.
Okay, I was just gonna say it has to be on the
Right,
commission
but-
agenda and the selectmen's agenda.
But does it have to go to the commission first? Do they have to postpone theirs until after you guys accept it? I don't know
I
who has
believe
priority.
so.
I would think that you guys have
Yeah,
jurisdiction over that, but I'd just be a guess,
Well, that's sort of the
Yeah.
order,
which is fine.
and how big is this parcel?
it's, so it's not, how many acres, gosh,
It's all kind of cut up. It basically surrounds the whole subdivision.
yeah. So we're not gonna own the land, but we're gonna hold the conservation restriction.
Restriction,
yeah.
okay, all right, okay. Okay, I understand.
So that has to be advertised open meeting, right, to be on the agenda?
Yes.
So,
Okay, so
Only my last, we
you
don't
will
need that.
retain deed, but we will retain jurisdiction.
the individual owners will retain,
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
some,
right.
the individual owners of the properties will retain the
Okay,
title and the deed, some of which have already been transferred to them.
okay. Okay, now, are these people getting, those placards that we have? Okay,
They're up.
They have their own restriction signs. They worked with us, Prime worked with us to
Okay.
make these, decent sized signs.
okay,
I didn't see any specific, the placards are a new thing, so
Yeah.
it wasn't part of the original permits for these,
Those are
but,
pretty big signs that
Yeah.
They are.
required in the order.
yeah,
okay,
They should be up.
they are.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
they're up on some of the lots, and on this lot they are, which is the only one we're really talking about at this point.
Right.
So, I have 2 copies, so once you vote, I need to be able to give him one so he can have his closing tomorrow.
okay, so, we'll, take a vote, and then we can sign.
Yep.
Okay, is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for, the land, the lot at file number 17-439?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
And then while we're on this lot, not sure if you wanted to come up and,
I'm still the owner, oh, that's fine, whichever. The new owner.
So, yeah, sure.
present it to me.
So I'm the buyer for that lot, that parcel. I had Lisa come out, because there's a couple trees that need to be removed. Dave, I believe too, right?
Yep.
He came out also. I showed them a couple trees that are on the conservation land itself that are rotting at the base and split on some of them, and I'd like to get them removed. So I sent Lisa an email requesting her to come out and take a look, and they did so, and I'm just seeking the commission's approval to get them removed.
okay,
So,
well, we can,
there's 3 trees, they're all pines.
They're all white pines, yes, 100 feet tall. roughly.
Yep, and they lean towards the property. And I think that, I told him no stumping, only cutting and leaving the stump there to rot,
Yep, of course.
Taller you leave it, the better for the habitat,
that's to Bill.
They're leaving the silt fences up until this is done, if you guys allow them to cut the trees. And then once the trees are down, and if the backyard's still all intact and doesn't need to be raked and seeded, then he'll take the silt fence down.
Correct.
I have no problem with it. Okay, if we just let you take care of that, you know what the trees are and how, what the condition of them is, and if they're
Yeah.
leaning towards his house and everything,
Right.
That's,
Well, they're rotting, and they're gonna come down eventually. So, if you could just keep me in the loop when it's done and take some pictures
Yeah, I'll take some pictures to
and
show you guys.
send them over,
Yes, no
email them.
problem.
Great.
Welcome to that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate it.
Yeah, welcome to Dayton. You're welcome.
okay, there's
All
one,
set?
Lisa.
I have one more question.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't have to back up, do I?
Okay. Lisa?
No, do we have to make a formal request other than the email I sent you to have the board vote on accepting the restrictions?
On accepting the what?
The restrictions at the next meeting?
No, that's
So we'll be on the agenda for the next
You'll-
meeting?
Yeah, they'll be on the agenda, right?
Yes.
You trust us?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's good. You might wanna send me a reminder.
If you want to.
Yep, yeah, that'd be good. Thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, I'll make sure. No problem.
Okay, next we have a review of the town council's opinion on Soil Conservation Commission's determinations, applicability with special permit site plan reviews.
Everybody should have a copy.
Yeah, I have it here. Okay.
How does this affect us?
Yeah, that's,
Well, I was hoping you guys could tell me because it was forwarded to me, to make sure that we shared with boards and commissions, so, Lenny, could you, or Nancy, could you elaborate on the soil board?
I haven't seen the document you're talking about. I don't
It's-
know the basis for the
Oh,
request.
oh, okay, well,
Same, but, I mean, we serve jointly, Board of Selectmen and Conservation, so.
okay, so what we're in receipt of is an opinion that Mike Mullen got from legal counsel. A legal opinion regarding the Soil Conservation Commission and applicability with special permits and site plan reviews.
it really doesn't deal with us, it just deals with what the soil conservation group can require or not require.
As I understand it,
Okay?
Yes, I understand it.
for example, the gentleman from Taunton Yacht Club, who is
Yeah.
in here, talking about evening out the grade a little bit, and then possibly removing some leftover material if there was anything left over.
Yeah.
If he was acting under a permit to do that, as I understand this document, he would not need a second permit specifically for the removal of the soil. Because if he has a permit from another board, such as planning board, conservation, that requires as a matter of the process of following the permit, if it requires the removal of soil, they wouldn't need a second permit specifically for it. It becomes an implied permit because it's pursuant to an already issued permit.
Yeah.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I get that out of that, you wouldn't need a second, but, okay, all right. So I guess we're all aware of it, and I guess we move on.
Yep. Just wanted to make you aware.
Okay.
Now, Charlie, you sit on the soil board for the Conservation Commission, correct? Okay.
We haven't had a soil, meeting in a long time.
Oh, I thought there was one recently, wasn't?
Not that I attended.
There was one in November.
November, that was the only one we had. That was involving property or counties.
Yeah.
That was it.
Should Charlie have been at that meeting, or? Huh.
Okay, shall we move on then on the agent update? And I'd like to take the first one. It says, discuss response to Town of Dayton's land auction purchase increase. And I guess Lisa's been getting a lot of calls, getting inquiries about the town auction land. And it's my understanding that the land being sold goes as is. So this is, comes down to buyer beware,
Yes,
as
they're
is.
sold without warranty.
And I just want it to be known that, you know, this commission is no way responsible for what land you buy, but what you buy is up to you to get a determination as to, is it good for what you are looking for? The property owner should hire a wetland scientist or engineer to survey the property and flag if they want to put, to see if a building is feasible. The wetland scientist or engineer can certainly advise the prospective owner as to what it is good for, rather than inundating Lisa with, is it good, is it good, is it good? that's not really her job. She's working for us, and if they own the land and they do some flagging, and it's limited in scope, she can advise as to if it's wetland soils under Mass Mapper or whatever, or to hire a botanist or an engineer.
Yeah.
So, that might be, now, are you involved in the selling of this land?
Yes.
Okay, so, make sure that the people are aware, that it's as is, and that if the land seems to be too good to buy, too good, they say if it's too good to be true, it might not be true for what they want to do with it. Just to relieve some of the pressure off of Lisa or this commission from answering everyone's questions.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we should have a list of the parcels that are going up for auction in case maybe we might be interested in some of them.
Yes, absolutely. So prior to the auction,
They already had the auction, Bill.
yes, so prior to the auction, approximately now, probably about 18 months ago, that list of properties was sent by the Land Use Committee to Conservation, Open Space, Trails, and number of other places. So as part of the determination prior to a parcel being auctioned, it does make the rounds where it is sent off.
Okay.
This obviously predates my tenure with the town. I was just elected to my position last year.
So we did get a copy of the
But yes.
parcels that were for sale?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't recall, but,
I did request a copy of the email that was sent out by the Land Use Committee.
Great.
That was going back,
I would have been here. I would have still been here 18 months ago, but, because I started in January 21. But, so from what I can give, all right, according to what I see on the map, this is what you have. But it is always, I always leave it up to the owner to do their own due diligence and hire somebody, because, but I do think it's a good idea for us to tell them, you bought a flood zone, you bought rare species habitat, you bought a site that's mapped mostly wetlands. And I'm not talking about the wetland layer, I'm talking about the soils layer, because I don't use the wetland layer. The wetland layer is really inaccurate. It's not something I recommend anyone look at, because it's 99% of the time wrong. I tell everybody it's like looking at TikTok for your news. And I'm not joking, it really is. So, but yeah, Jim, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, before the auction and after the auction, I got a bunch of calls and I got some emails. And I think we have a gentleman here, that bought one of the parcels, which is why I thought it was good to have on the agenda to have some discussion about going forward. Maybe we could have a little bit more ahead of the time, like Bill said. Because I don't know, I mean, maybe we would have, why did we acquire some of the land? Maybe we acquired it because it was, wetland and.
These were all tax possessions. These were all foreclosures for non-payment of taxes.
Right, which.
But that's maybe why they didn't, because they couldn't do anything with the land. It's not because they were broke, but because they couldn't do anything with it, so they said, heck with it, and just gave up on it and paying taxes. I'm just throwing that out, but anyway, I think by saying as is, maybe there could be something saying the land for sale may be of various quality, or something that's.
That just says it all.
Oh, it does in a sense, because everything in this country is buyer beware. And, and as I said, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is too good to be true. An acre of land for 10,000 or something, But,
He has a.
yes,
Hi.
Hi.
I attended just because I don't know what the process is. The map shows about half of the lot that I purchased.
Which map?
You're in the person next to you planning. She pulled up the map online.
So the wetlands map is inaccurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to know what the next step was, like hiring someone. Do I need permission? Like, what do I do on my own? What do I need town permission for to find out if it's buildable?
He doesn't own it. Do you own it outright yet?
We haven't closed yet,
Ah.
but it's under contract.
So yeah, so what should be the process? Because I don't think the town's gonna allow anyone to flag their land. Is that true?
I couldn't answer that question.
Which is fine. I could schedule it or I can call, start looking for people
I-
and then wait till
Yeah,
it's closed.
well, I think your best bet is trying to get someone to do an A, desktop review, and B, go out to the site with you. And give you some sort of a letter. A wetland scientist. So what you could do is you could contact any of the local surveyors or engineers around and say, I'm in the process of buying a piece of land and I need a quick review. Maybe not flagged right, well, not flagged because it doesn't sound like you can do that, but that would be your best bet, because those engineers and surveyors have a list of their own wetland scientists they work with, and they can tell you, you know.
it may be something that they could do just very quickly, and if they just look at it, they might say, oh, forget it. Or they might say, well, yeah, I see some good potential here. Do you want me to go and do an in-depth, you know, and that way that would kind of determine your cost, you know, if they come out, because sometimes you just drive by property and you say, and you just laugh and you say, no, this is no good whatsoever. You know, there's standing water in it for, you know, several months, and other land it's really questionable.
Yeah, and there's a lot of land in Dayton that's questionable because it's land that's in between up and dry. There's a broad, so there's a lot of woodridge soils here. They're called transitional soils, where you're gonna have both types of vegetation, and you're gonna have indicators of wetlands, hydric soils, and not. You're not always going to have the evidence of hydrology on the surface. Sometimes it's only in the soil, but that's still how you view and determine a wetland is based on soils and vegetation. If you don't have the hydrology, the wetness, then you got to go in with an auger and you got to see what's inside. Sometimes we have the pit and mound topography, where you'll look in the pits and you'll have a wetland, and you'll look up on the mound and you'll have an upland, but it doesn't mean that that land is dominated by uplands. It's usually, if you have both like that, you're gonna have a wetland. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
And the scientists would know that.
I was.
Well, they should. I could also give you, I could help you out by giving you a little bit more information if you swung by the office or emailed me for an appointment, just so you know the questions to ask.
And so, just make sure I understand this right, I can do a desktop review with someone, that's fine right now. Once I close on the land and I am the official owner, I can then have it flagged, I don't need special permission?
Oh, yeah, you get it flagged. You get it flagged as soon as you can. If you can have it flagged before you close on it, I would. I don't know if the town's gonna let you do that.
Okay.
That would be a good idea.
That would be the best thing, because before you put more
Yeah.
money on it.
It's not just flagged though, because the flags are out there, but then they gotta get surveyed, so they get on a plan like this, you know?
Yeah. So if my end goal is to build a house, so first I have to have it flagged and
Yeah.
surveyed.
Yeah.
And then do I have to come back to this commission, or is that report done by a licensed professional good enough and I can then move forward with town?
Yes, you have to come back to the commission, yeah.
Okay, so once I have a report from them, then I have to have a hearing here to approve.
There's a process, depending on where you are and what the resources are. If your site is such that you have to work within 200 feet of a stream or 100 feet of a wetland, you have to come before us. And regardless, like one of the ones you might have heard earlier, if it's a larger piece of land and you want to know where all the resources are, so you know what you have, then you file a different kind of, you file an ANRAD. An ANRAD is something where and the application's on our website. Actually, our bylaw, everything's on the website now.
Would this be something, having an expert, is this something I can talk about if I make an appointment with you?
Yeah.
Just to- I don't wanna spend too much time
Yeah.
trying to learn.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
One thing,
What I was concerned about mostly was that
He's
if
trying
a
to
piece
get your
of property
attention.
comes up.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought he was done, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, no.
Carry on.
I'm hearing from three people at the same time, and, are you done?
I had a question.
Okay.
Or actually, some advice. When you determine that you have uplands, make sure you have enough upland to build a house to the specifications for the planning board,
Yeah,
for the conservation commission. There's
Right.
all kinds of setbacks.
right.
Okay.
You can't build a house within 50 feet
Hun-
of the wetland, even though you have a
Yeah.
100-foot buffer zone.
And you have a 100-foot setback for septic system too.
Yeah,
And
There
if-
has to be room for the septic on the light and the lot.
And if you have a well, you gotta be the septic system has to be 100 feet from the well. And if there's a stream, you gotta be 200 feet on the jurisdictions. So there's a lot to consider. And one of the things you can do is download, our bylaw, the Dayton Conservation Bylaw, and that'll give you, good insight. Okay, Bill, you were gonna say something.
We have a lot of property that's landlocked. And if a piece of property comes up for sale that gives us access to it from another piece of property, or if it abuts
Yeah,
the
you can.
property that we already own, we should be aware of it.
Okay, you're talking not to him, but to
Sorry.
us
All right,
and conservation land, yes. I
Get
agree
my
with you, Bill.
calendar out.
We should be aware of everything that's up for
I
sale.
mean,
Monday?
there are a lot of parcels, even behind the
sure, you
current,
can come in,
I'm gonna call it the
does
landfill.
11 o'clock work around?
There's a 10-acre plot behind there, that 50 acres that we own behind Jennifer Way.
And what's your
that
first
goes-
name?
And that's close to another 10
Okay.
acres of
We should know
land.
all that.
And, there's a lot. And right now, Bill, in process is the development of a
Okay,
2-foot by 3-foot map
you got it.
of all parcels in Dayton and
10:30
what
or
conservation
11?
controls. That's in the
Oh,
works
okay.
right now.
Let's do 10 then, if that's better for
So
you.
that's all gonna be color-coded, and I'm gonna have multiple
I'm
copies made up, so that there will be one for Lisa, I'm gonna have one, anyone else who has one, and I plan to do that this summer when they have that fair, to show where Dayton, Conservation
All right.
controls,
Yep,
and those
me too. Thank
brochures,
you.
those will be available to people.
Okay, don't let him sell anything that we can use.
We gotta know what they are, though.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you'll be notified of anything that's gonna be considered
Yeah.
for action, that's gonna be part of the process
And
with our land use
with the new
committee is to-
map that's being generated now, we should be able to pick and look at plots and how to access them.
Yep.
Okay, let us move on.
Okay,
Cedar Street, enforcement order issued 12/7/22.
The Ring of Fire.
Lisa?
yeah, so we haven't gotten anything back on this. I'm a little surprised, I'm a little confused. Let's see here, I did get an email. Can you, from the engineer, Mr. D'Souza?
Yes.
Yeah. Asking me if I had time that day to review the plan. I said, please email it to me and we can set up an appointment. Okay, I'll do that. Never happened.
This has been lingering for a while now.
Yeah.
In the letter that was sent, did it say that there's certain actions that we can take?
Yes. Yep, I'll show you the letter.
Now, he has the permission to put an addition on, am I correct?
Yeah, I have not signed off on the building permit.
Okay.
It's the letter that went out certified.
Okay, we are writing to follow up on alterations and violations of the Wetland Protection Act and the Dayton Conservation Commission bylaws. Okay, I'm just, we request a restoration plan and other changes to those documents and at public meeting multiple times and have to date, you have not complied with any of our requests. The enforcement order issued last December requires the following, and then it went on. If the Conservation Commission does not receive a complete restoration plan that complies with the wetland performance standards referenced by 313, which was earlier this week, we will consider issuing daily fines as allowed in Section 10 of our wetland protection bylaws. Failure to comply with this letter may continue grounds for an additional enforcement order and/or legal action. So it's out there dangling is that we may issue fines. Do we give him more time to submit these plans? He said he has plans?
All right, he said, "Good morning, Lisa, could we meet today to go over the planting plans? Thank you. Good morning, my schedule is full today. Please email me your draft and I will take a look, then we will set something up. I will email you the plan this afternoon. Thank you, John D'Souza." Nothing. That was on March 7th,
March 7th.
9 days ago.
What is the wish of the commission?
I'm not a great fan of fines, but
I know that, yes.
We haven't done it in years, have we? Did you do it? Yeah, we did it once. We
When?
did. Mr. Pavo.
that'd be 25 years ago.
That was 20 years ago, yeah.
I mean, is there a way to reach out to this gentleman, to D'Souza?
Did.
Go to the
Oh,
house?
D'Souza?
Huh?
D'Souza? I did.
The homeowner.
Right, that's what I'm saying, the homeowner.
Oh, this is.
He was CC'd.
He's the guy who's gonna pay the fines.
Oh, yeah, he wasn't
It went
CC'd.
to the house, it went to the address.
Yeah,
It did go
he
to the owner.
signed for it, the letter.
It went to the owner.
Yeah.
I mean, until we really have to do something about a couple of these that have just been lingering on forever.
Well, how about another letter saying that if he doesn't reply, we will,
Okay,
not we may.
And the fines will start as of a certain date.
all right, let me,
The fines will
I
start
don't
on,
have anyone typing for me, hold on.
okay. All right, let's put some teeth into this then.
All right.
And have a vote, and it's gotta be something like this, that, a second letter will be issued to the homeowner stipulating when that fines will begin on a certain date if we do not.
If we do not receive a reply by.
A reply, if we, yes, right, I just left that off.
Okay.
If we do not receive a reply with a satisfactory plan.
How'd you feel about a start date for the fine of, say, the 21st, the day after our next meeting, in the event that they don't respond by then?
That's fine. That sounds good, so that we would vote to consummate that, but we can say that fines will begin on April 21st, if we do not have a satisfactory, and was that $500 a day?
Three.
300?
Up to.
Well, we can, okay, so we can stipulate.
Yeah, up to.
So
$300.
we determine what that's going to be, that as of April 21st, fines of $300 per day.
Up to $300.
But we can say what it's going to be.
No, we can say up to $300. That's what it is.
Correct. So we can say, actually, so we can say now whether it's going to be $100 a day or 200. We determine what it's going to be.
With inflation the way it is, $300 a day isn't very much. When the rule was initiated, probably 20 years ago, when $300 was worth
Yeah.
X amount, right now it's not worth peanuts.
Right now, people don't have a hell of a lot of money, and $300 is
Yeah.
still $300.
Wait a minute, and I have
A day?
I have a correction for you.
$200 a week.
It's $300 a day per fine, and he has multiple fines.
Now, is that 7 days or just 5 days a week work days?
I'm not a math magician.
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it up to you.
Do we have a motion to issue?
Not more than $25,000.
Okay, is there a motion to issue a second letter with stipulations that if we do not have a plan, fines will begin on April 21st at the rate of $300 a day?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jim, we've got a lot on our agenda. Another page. Can we take care of these people and see what they need to do?
I'm just paying attention. I've never really been to a meeting before, and I'm trying to get that, Horton Street. I'm trying to buy a portion of that lot in order to put a single-family home on.
Wait, is this Old Horton or Horton?
Old Horton, yeah. I'm the one that's trying to buy the 11-acre lot to put a single-family home on.
Okay, now, we were already dealing with
No, I
that.
know that. I'm just paying attention to see how things work. It's going out for peer review,
Yeah.
wetlands were
Correct.
delineated, it's going out for peer review, but I'm just sitting here
Yeah, you can.
being, first off, entertained, and second, education.
Is it better than TV?
Well, you know, once the peer review is done, then you will be able to determine what you can do and where you can do it and how much you can do, or...
What's confusing to me is that his engineer reached out to me today and said he's gonna start on the NOI. And I said, are you gonna be able to avoid any having to file the NOI? Can you stay outside of the 100? He said, absolutely not. So I said, then why didn't you guys file an NOI?
See, I've never done this before, I've lived in houses, I've never built one. And this is something that I've always wanted to do, and it's a nice little tucked away piece of land that gives me lots of privacy.
How many acres?
It's 11-acre lot.
Okay, so that's not little.
Well,
Okay,
the
but...
uplands is little.
Okay, but the application was as an NRAD.
Yeah.
And that is to define the entire parcel of property and within the property. So if there's a stream, if there are vernal pools, all of that is going to be noted. You know, if it was just for the a property, one line would be done, but this is not the case. That's not what was filed.
Would it be beneficial for me to just say, I don't want the ANRAD, I just want the notice of intent on that little section there? Because really, it's only about an acre of uplands in the front portion of the property. And, I mean, we've been sitting on this for a while. I still haven't closed on the property. I won't close on it until I know I can do something with it.
See, this,
And
Well, the situation is, we talked about it before the meeting, and I told you to withdraw it,
Yeah.
because we have to make a decision tonight, but it wasn't withdrawn, so now we made
I'm
a
not,
decision.
I'm not the one that can withdraw it, that's the
Right,
problem.
so he's not the
I'm
applicant.
not the owner yet.
Okay, you're at a loss then because the applicant, didn't decide to do that.
Right.
So right now, we have in progress a peer review, which is going to bring, and they're gonna do the whole lot.
Yes.
Maybe that's better, because then they'll know what's there in the whole lot.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that might be better, because you'll get a view of everything.
So RJ, not RJ. yes,
NRAD.
Yeah. So you didn't follow the ANRAD, the property owner.
No, I don't own the property, yeah, it's RJW, I think.
RJR.
RJR, thank you.
You could have filed a notice of intent not owning the property with his permission.
Oh, okay.
But-
Like I said, I'm ignorant of all of this stuff. This is an education for me. I wish I had learned to be educated earlier.
Okay, I think you probably
We all
got the
feel that way
information that
about
you
some
needed
things in
then.
our life, trust me.
How do you think that gentleman that just walked out of here feels?
I know, that's why I told myself, I'm kinda doing the same thing.
Nancy's trying to speak.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question about that whole, what he's talking about and what you acted on earlier?
Yes?
So it's 17 acres roughly.
Well, he said 11.
No, but the whole
The
chunk.
whole parcel is 17 acres,
Whatever.
but I'm
Okay.
only getting 11 of it.
So, okay, so you're
I
getting,
was listening to that, so there's going to be an individual to do a review. And that's what that $2,000.
correct.
The delineation.
There are wetlands on the property that have been.
No,
flagged.
I'm only thinking procedural. Is the person who's going to do the professional services, is he in business for himself?
Yes.
Is he registered with the Secretary of State? Is he insured?
I don't know if he's insured. I don't know if he's registered.
Well, all I can tell you is when we're doing something solar-wise, the building commissioner always checks to see if whoever's doing the work or whatever is registered with the Secretary of State. People doing business that you hire, or you are going to, someone's going to pay, and the money comes into the town, and you give that person a contract to go out and do this work, needs to be insured, because if they're not insured and they get injured doing that work, there's a potential liability for the town of Dayton.
But he's dealing with a property owner.
No. Who's going to award the contract for the person to do it? That property owner is giving you money and saying to you, here's a couple of proposals. Pick one of these people to go out and do this work, and you take the money, town of Dayton, that I'm giving you, and you pay this person. If the property owner were directly paying the person doing the work, there would not be liability for the town. But because it passes through the town, the person should be insured. It's just something you need to think about, but definitely you need to know if this person is registered with the Secretary of State to do business in the Commonwealth.
Well, so if he's
So-
not and we want to move forward with it, then we have to go to Plan B because we know that over is, right?
So before money's paid, you need to try to get this information, but also let the party who is going to give the money to the town for the 53G account, put a hold on this, because we got to check out a couple of things. You can get this information easily. As I said, Mr. Aguirre, when he's checking on things like contractors or whatever, he just calls and finds out, are they registered? Are they, licensed to do business in the Commonwealth? And certainly
Well,
individuals.
it could be in a DBA, right? Yeah.
You have to be registered, though, I
Not
believe.
with, not with the state for a sole proprietorship. If you're sole proprietorship or DBA, it doesn't
Yeah,
require
you don't
state
have to be,
registration.
right?
You still gotta have insurance. If you have a business and whoever is paying you and hires you. If I hire a contractor to come to my house to put a window in, and they're not insured, and they get injured on my property, I'm gonna get sued. No question about it. So all I'm saying is, if the setup is DBA and they don't have to register, you still gotta know if they have insurance. I mean, after all, we don't even let people use this hall at no cost unless they have insurance and we're listed as also insured. But the insurance thing is very important, okay? Which has nothing to do with what this gentleman's trying to do. But I sat here listening to this. It came up again.
Well, that's why I was trying to ask, and I don't know, I mean.
And I don't know anybody that has, any of those names that you mentioned, I don't know those people. So all I'm saying is, I'm sitting there listening to this, and since it came up again, I thought I would ask, but certainly there is a liability.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's,
Usually, especially in government contracts, when you write, usually in government contracts, when you're going out to bid, the stipulation is that you will award it to the lowest responsible bidder. The responsible piece, and that's where you do your due diligence, is to make sure that they are licensed to do business in the Commonwealth, and secondly, that they're bonded or have insurance. If you found that the party that you're planning to award does not meet that criteria, then you have the obligation to award it to the next bidder, or else you run the risk of being sued. So if that bidder that you're thinking of going with does not meet that criteria, then
I just sent out an email. Most likely a DBA, sole proprietor, and I've dealt with this because I am one. I am insured. I don't know if he is.
okay, that's a question then that we're going to have to deal with, and if not, then we could go with Marty and ask her to do it for the two.
If she's injured.
You wanna call her tomorrow?
I can call Marty, but you better check with Jamil.
Yeah, I emailed him.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, follow up on what Chairman Hall said. Lowest responsible bidder is also described as lowest qualified bidder.
Yes,
The qualification
is insurance.
means they've got to meet all the criteria, which means you don't have to take the lowest dollar bid if in fact the lowest bid does not meet all of the qualifications. Which means if you go to the other person who bid, who's a little bit higher, they don't have to take it for that $2,000. You have to accept them at whatever they said they would do it for. You can't hold them to the lower bid.
I understand that, but
Okay.
you could ask if they would do it for that.
I wouldn't even do that. That's, when you ask somebody for a proposal,
Yeah,
and you get a couple, if you only have one proposal, but if you get two, and you're really going to have to look at qualifications, meaning it appears in this case, insurance.
Well, they're both
Okay.
qualified consultants, but we don't know.
okay.
We're not sure about
I'm
insurance.
sending you each a text with Marty's email response saying she's away next week. So if someone else could do it so that I'm not going even more over my hours. Cause I'm
Okay.
already going over my hours.
Okay, all right, so, could you do one thing, ask if,
I asked Stephen.
okay.
I just did.
And then tell them to get insurance.
I emailed him.
And tell them to get insurance, or you,
Well, insurance is gonna, trust me, I pay out insurance like he would have to. And if he needs to get insurance, it's gonna cost him that whole job to get the insurance. That's how much they charge.
okay.
Even though I'm not I'm not a design professional, but they put me in that category. I have to pay about $1,800 a year just for insurance.
Okay,
Even though I don't make or break, I don't design projects, I'm not responsible for if something breaks, I'm not an engineer, right?
Okay,
Anyway.
so let us continue then, so you know what's,
Well, I would like Charlie to reach out to Marty. She's leaving on Monday.
Follow.
Call her tomorrow.
Say what.
And then, yeah, that'd be good.
and that's an if, okay? All right, Horton Street update.
Okay, did we skip?
You know, no, we didn't take
Okay,
it.
good. All right. Horton Street update. So,
That's Olivera, right?
yeah, Olivera, we visited, the site has been flagged. Dave Phillips and I visited with Chris Crenshaw, his
9th.
engineer, on the 9th. We told them that the site needed to be stabilized somehow temporarily with straw, because to try to put erosion controls down in there with that mess is not gonna be an easy feat, so. The gentleman, said that they would be putting the straw down on Saturday. He insists that the owner put the straw down.
I went out there on the 12th.
Yeah,
There was no straw down. Took a few pictures, sent them to all the members.
yeah.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
Hydro seeded,
Okay,
He hydro-seeded?
yes.
Oh, you know he did?
What?
Do you know if he did?
Yes, I do.
Oh, really? How do you know that? You're talking Olivera?
Yes, at the end of Horton Street, just before it gets to Wellington.
okay, near the church.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Why didn't you
That's
tell?
awful early to hydro seal. That would have washed away with this rain, this week.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering, why didn't he reach out to me?
I don't know.
I've been dealing with Chris.
Who's
And
Chris?
Chris is the one that said he'd work on this project for him. Chris is his engineer.
Okay.
I told him to put straw out to stabilize it. I don't know why he's hydro-seeded it.
I don't either. But maybe the rain we had a couple of days ago.
It's no more seed there now.
No more seed there is right.
I hope it wasn't invasive species.
Okay, did the selectmen send?
When someone notifies you of something like that, can you tell me right away?
Yeah, I could have.
All right.
Okay, next one is, County Street. The selectmen were to send a letter to DEP.
I happened to have a meeting with Mike yesterday, and I think it's going to the next selectmen's meeting, because as we talked, he said, next selectmen's meeting.
Wait, Mike.
Mullen.
Oh,
Mike
okay.
Mullen, yeah, so we haven't voted on it yet. So,
Okay.
Next week, next week's meeting? Yes, next week.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so next meeting, we'll actually be at that meeting because that's also the budget meeting, or is that
No, our regular schedule.
regular scheduled? Okay. Which, okay. I have an update on 1035 William Street. He had been working with Outback. This is the gentleman that added the garage, unpermitted garage, and did some alterations in his yard. This has been going on for almost 2 years. But he had hired Outback several months ago. We visited the site together. We went over the plan. I keep asking, where is everything? Well, before they submit it, they want to have a site visit. I suggested we have a site visit like sooner than later, because I said the commission's gearing up to issue an enforcement order. We set up a site visit for Wednesday morning, if anybody wants to go, at 9 AM.
I'd like to go.
Okay.
I'll be there too.
And that's William Street.
Yeah, 10:35. I'll invite you on the calendar.
Thank you very much.
What time is that?
9 o'clock. All right.
That's Wednesday, the 22nd?
Yep,
Thank you.
I already invited David, and Jim. Does anyone else want to go? Anybody else care? All right. Invitation sent, hopefully you got it. The next one's 0 Horton Ribeiro, enforcement order.
Okay.
There's no update on this. We're hoping soon we'll have an update about some restoration, because
Yeah.
it is springtime.
Well, that must be flooded, with all this rain.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, Horton Street?
2050 Horton Street as well. This is the adjacent lot. The enforcement order was issued on March 24th, 2022. Wow, it's almost been a year. I do know the site has been flagged, and the owner reached out and hired Oak Hill Engineering to work on a plan for his unpermitted work. He's also talking about adding in a garage. We are making progress with most of these.
This enforcement order, is that only for 1 year?
The enforcement order?
Yeah.
The
'Cause
enforcement
This was
order.
issued in 3/22.
Yeah, it didn't specify like a timeline on it, but he's been very cooperative, working with DEP and me and Charlie to try to figure everything out.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
William Street?
So, yeah, I think I gave you the same update last time, so this lot, the owners and new owners had done some cleaning up, clearing in the wetland and in the buffer zone. They got it flagged, they added erosion controls. They met with Todd and I, and we had a discussion with Mr. Aguirre on the phone during the meeting to kind of get them on track so they can know what they need to do, because they started bringing in fill material, and it wasn't clean fill in the upland area. So between that and knowing that they have some restoration to do, they have a little work to do before, but they are working on figuring out where their house and everything's going to go so that they can come up with a plan with Proline Engineering. So they've engaged them. Their wetland scientist sent me over a report, and he sent me over a restoration plan, and I told him I needed to know the square footage so that we can determine, to make sure the quantities are where they should be, not just I'm gonna plant a couple dozen bushes and be all set. The area disturbance is pretty large between the wetland and the buffer zone disturbances. So that one's that. 1861 Somerset Ave. I met the owner on site with Lighthouse Engineering, directed him. He now understands what he cannot and cannot do. Oh, Dave was with me. Since the last meeting, there hasn't been any additional work. They're just still, I think, trying to figure out what they
Yeah, I mean, we drive by there all the time, and nothing's been really done.
Yeah.
Like those rocks, those big rocks. that
Yeah,
were in
so
the
those-
pile, they haven't been moved at all.
He did say he was gonna move the rocks, didn't he? So
Yes,
I
he
should
did.
follow up with him. Okay, 771 Hart. Now's the time, I think maybe April maybe, or now could be the time where I could go out there and help him determine. Remember he had moved some dirt around. He got some erosion controls in. His whole objective was to deal with the runoff from the street, the stormwater runoff off of Hart Street. Unfortunately, the town project isn't extending as far as this gentleman's home, but he's having stormwater issues from Hart Street. I think, the dirt is going to, maybe he's going to have to create a swale there. I did meet with Tom Ferry as well, who gave him a little bit more direction. So I
Did
think,
Tom meet with the homeowner?
Tom, you and I, yeah. Oh, were you not
No,
there?
I don't think I was there with Tom,
I was
no.
there with Tom. We agreed that the spring would be the better time to do it, so he's gonna remove the dirt. I don't know where he's gonna put it yet, we have to figure that out. I'm assuming he's gonna move it up to his property, and he's going to have to build like a swale there as well and seed it. The main thing is that the erosion controls are in place, and he's gonna have to seed it with some native seed mix, so.
I couldn't hear the last comment you made.
Erosion controls are in place, and he's going to have to seed it with some, once he removes the dirt, seed it with some native seed mix. So I will follow up with them. Say it's spring now, let's plan on doing this sooner than later.
Okay, the next two on Main Street, would you take them together? 700 and 670?
Oh, well, we have 1940 County Street in between.
Oh, okay, my eyes just jumped to the other, okay, the other Hot Street, go ahead.
So I haven't heard any updates from the owner. I did hear an update at the stormwater meeting. Mr. Aguirre reported that the owner has hired Outback Engineering, and we should be getting something soon. We haven't received anything yet. I didn't know if you guys wanted to send him a letter and say, you know, it's been months.
Talking about County Street,
Yeah,
he hired Outback.
that's what we hear. That's what we were told. I wasn't told, but Kerry was told this.
They're gonna have to reach out to you, Outback is, right?
Right, I mean, didn't know if you wanted to give them like a timeline of, hey, we'd like to receive something
Well,
from
it
you.
never hurts to send a letter and to, what accomplishments have you made concerning this project or this
Wanna
restoration?
help me draft it on Monday?
I'm sorry?
You wanna help me draft it on Monday?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Then 880 Hart, as of the last meeting, they were here, and we haven't gotten an update, but I know they had reached out to some engineers.
So it's in progress then?
Right. The other two, 700 and 670 Main Street, I received a complaint of some involving bank and land underwater at Muddy Cove Brook in the area of two sites, 700 and 670. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 700 and 670. I went out to the site, and the gentleman wasn't there, but I was able to look around a little bit. I saw 700. There was some alterations I think I mentioned at the last meeting. Did we talk about this one already at
I don't know. Let's
yeah.
see.
Because you guys said that that bridge was
Oh,
previously
yes,
permitted.
okay, yeah, Bill recalled a bridge there.
Well, I have not heard back from the, my daughter. I have not heard back, and I asked for a response. So the letter got sent, certified 2/22, response required by 3/8, and attendance at our meeting, and there was nothing.
Okay, you got here requested by 3/18, which is 2 days from now, on 670. And the other one is,
Oh. So 700.
700 is 3/6, that's
700
today.
separate. 670 and 0 Main are one, 700 separate, yeah, they should have
No, I
already.
know they're separate, so you should have gotten a response by today.
I didn't.
And by Saturday on the other one.
I didn't get anything, so, from 700. I'm still on 700, that's separate.
Okay.
So what do you guys want to do about that one?
Um,
We sent a notice of violation certified. Do you want to send a enforcement order? You guys know more about this one than I. You said that the bridge was previously permitted? Or
I don't
Charlie
know.
said that?
What's that?
The bridge?
They did file, you're talking about 670 Main?
No, 700.
Okay. Yeah, they did file. They
My
filed
daughter
with the
keeps calling me. I don't know if it's an emergency, excuse me.
So how long
I'm in a
ago was this,
meeting. Is
Charlie?
everything okay?
Long time ago.
I'll call you back. All right, bye. Love you. Sorry.
It was quite a long time ago, years ago.
Years ago? Okay, well, do you know what they filed for, or
If they what?
what they filed for? Because right now, the way it looks, have you,
They filed for, well, they already had the thing across
The river, stream.
they had a little bridge across the brook.
Yeah.
And that's what started the whole project. A neighbor complained, and they did file, and we did approve
The crossing?
yes.
Okay, because if you go out there right now and you look at it, it's all barren dirt, not stabilized at all. And
So many years ago.
it's going down to the bank. It's just, I can show you an aerial. Just let me get there. It's not very pretty. But,
They own the parcel behind it, on the other side of the brook.
right.
Yeah.
Would a second letter, with
That's what it looks like now. See it? I mean, this is the brook.
Yeah.
All right, and then the site is completely open, there's no stabilization at all, I mean, it's gotta be running right into the brook.
It has to be. It has to be. I saw it over here.
You probably can drive by and see it pretty clearly, it's pretty close to where you live, right?
Oh, yeah. You could say that.
I've seen it.
Okay, if we send a letter with, Lisa, if we send a second letter with, implications as to what our bylaw says about, non-compliance and use the word could be or may be.
Okay.
Okay.
Every time we send a certified letter, it costs over $8. 670 and 0 Main, this is the property to the east.
That was the original
That was the
complaint?
original complaint, but when I went out, I saw this. Well, the original complaint was about some rocks that had been dumped along the bank.
So this person didn't do it, it's the one at 700 that did the,
Well, no. The stream acts as the property line, so you've got one homeowner or landowner to the north and one to the south. The one to the south is the one that called, and I said, "You're calling about your own land. I didn't see any violation on his land until I till he showed me exactly where he was talking about, and there was rocks dumped down the bank. Apparently, he knows who did it. In any case, I sent it a certified letter. Well, I hand-delivered one to Mr. Arujo, and I mailed one to Mr. LePage. Asked them to come to our next meeting and gave them 10 days to reply. They both replied that they'd be at our next meeting. This is more of a civil matter because, I mean, although we want the rocks to be removed and we want them to be removed, you know, the right way, but they're gonna go after their neighbor for this, I believe, so. They're saying,
670 is gonna go after 700.
no, it's not 700. It's the neighbor to the, apparently, he's going to come to the next meeting and tell us, but
Okay, all right.
it's not 700.
Okay. On the other side of the other street?
Yes,
Okay,
that's
all
what,
right,
that's
I'm
what
with
Mr. LePage is complaining about. And I said, I can only send a letter to you because the violation is on your property.
Okay. so-
Whether you want to follow up and deal with it, I don't know. They're gonna come to the next meeting.
Okay,
1420 William Street is another one, so, Todd and I do frequent inspections over there because it is the solar project, and we observed, a large pile of dirt. We saw actually from William Street, you can see a large pile of dirt and it looks like it's in the resource. So we pulled in and we were able to,
and this is
clear.
Kenny's property,
Yeah.
and Kenny
Kenny is working with a wetland scientist. He's going to come to our next meeting.
Okay.
He had some
Well,
dirt.
I'm
He
sure
was
he will
trying.
take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
He already responded. Andy came to the stormwater meeting as well, so he is aware that it is an issue and he knows he's going to rectify the situation.
okay. Public input.
Charlie had something on public input as well, but,
It's already there,
yeah.
the beta estimate.
The beta estimate, yes. And I had something as well.
This is up my here.
So Laura Kraus sent over well, this came from Beta on March 3rd, the scope of services for Strawberry Fields appeal, the testimony and all that.
This is an estimate, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
did I already give you yours?
I don't think so. You might have. You've given me a lot of stuff.
Jack's then. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
Okay, this is the one.
Thank you.
Wait, you gave us one, didn't you, Charlie?
Oh, you
We
gave
have
me
that.
one.
We
You
have
gave
that.
all of them one?
Yeah, we got that.
Yeah, Charlie's on.
You already voted on it.
No, you didn't. You voted on this? It's $67,000.
No, we didn't.
That's an estimate.
I did not hear you vote on that one.
Okay, oh, Lisa, do I have a blank? I mean, this is, they had a blank one and they made it nice and neat. I'm not even sure what, unless I have to go in and say, hey, give me a new sheet and,
You're welcome. I have a thing.
oh, wait a minute, is this the one that,
I wish I put the date on it.
that was just a copy of this?
You don't need a blank one.
Okay,
You just need to reply to the email. She emailed us and told us the individual line items and what the changes were. I just want you to look at it.
oh, okay, all right, okay.
So this is the agreement. So Beta's, testimony, throughout the Office of Appeals and Dispute Resolution, proceeding with the matter of Fisher, Cashman, Strawberry Fields Estate, 766 Somerset Ave, associated with construction of a residential development at 766 Somerset Ave. This proposal outlines Beta's understanding of our role during this appeal process as further described below.
Okay.
So they're proposing to use experts, Gary James, Laura Kraus, Tyler Drew, who is in here tonight.
That's the guy, yeah, that's the kid that was here.
I should get more private work.
You think?
And just, call him, all you do is ask him if he's got insurance and we're all set to go.
Yeah, I don't think he does, but I emailed him.
What's going on over there?
So
You know, hey,
So,
why wouldn't we just go with Marty on that? You know, it would cause, it would be a lot less malarkey that we're gonna go through.
I know, I don't wanna put them off another month.
okay.
All right, so what do you guys, I mean, we're kind of stuck in a rock and a hard place with this.
Well, you know, this is their estimate, and this is what, we know it's gonna be a lot.
But what was Marty's estimate? Because this does not include Marty's estimate.
Marty, no,
Here's an estimate, she's
Yeah.
working on the,
I thought she did.
no, I think she's just working on the,
125.
As a needed basis? Yeah.
that's what she sent us anyway.
Well, this is the agreement if you guys decide to do this.
Do we have a choice? I don't think so.
This is something we're gonna have to work at another meeting.
I think so, yeah, I think you're right. Because I told Laura today, Charlie didn't get it, and it didn't get on the agenda. They already
So-
started the appeal process, so I don't think it's gonna affect.
So all we got to say is we approve their estimates?
No, I don't think you should do it on tonight. It wasn't on the agenda, so I don't think you can do it tonight.
No, but I'm saying that's what we're gonna have to do, though, is approve their estimate.
Well, you're gonna have to discuss it. Yeah, review it and discuss it, yep.
Yeah. Now, does everyone have a copy of this, or is it just me now?
The agreement,
This here?
you want me to email everybody a copy?
Okay, all right, so when the time comes, this is for me to sign after we agree to it. Okay, all right. All right, I'll go through this in the coming days, and we'll have this on the agenda for the next time to approve their estimate. And, there's not much we can do. We knew it was gonna be expensive to fight this, project. So long as we have, clean agents, up above.
And there was one more item. So, do you wanna start?
And what was that?
Under correspondence, I'm disclosing an appearance of a conflict of interest.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
Form 23B, as a public employee. So a septic permit was filed with the Board of Health, work on Lot 2, Hart Street, map 19, Lot 1, and map 20, Lot 100-1. The site contains regulated wetland areas. I'm responsible for confirming wetlands as delineated are accurate or not. I'm disclosing my relationship with the owner. I previously flagged, and I flagged that that lot, a portion of one of those lots, prior to working for the town. That's Mr. Roderick. And I report to the commission, who is the deciding authority on the wetlands in town. But additional facts, why there's low risk. The site was flagged recently, most recently by another party, Mr. Fianoff, and I will be reviewing their work if the commission needs me to. So I signed it and dated it today. So what's going on is we sent, Jim signed a letter that, because there's work being done, we believe, within 100 feet of a regulated wetland on Hart Street.
Well, what Brandon has flagged, even that flag line, which is precarious, it might be off by several feet. Fill is dumped within the 100-foot buffer zone of that line that we're not sure of on the accuracy. Now there's a stone wall, and there's a dip after the stone wall, which is probably 40, 50 feet closer to the work which is being done. And Mass Mapper has that as wetland soils. And so if that is the case, he's gonna have to move his whole septic system over another 75 feet or so. It's not that he can't do the project, that's not, it's just the location of what he's doing.
Right, so a letter was sent, Jim signed it.
On Hot Street.
Lot 2,
It's it's right after was it after the power lines or before?
before.
Before.
So what normally happens when there's gonna be a perk is I go out, right, and review the location or the approximate location of the perk and see if there's any wetlands within 100 feet. And I either tell them to file, or the flagging looks good, or whatever, right? In this case, back in September, they had proposed to perk some areas. I immediately recused myself. The health agent was able to determine that they were outside the regulated area, but they added some perks in the meantime. So now here we are, they're getting close to installing a septic system. Jim went over and took a look.
That was my notes.
We are writing to inform you of possible wetlands and/or associated buffer zone violation on your property at Lot 2, Hart Street, Map 19, Lot 1, Map 20, Lot 100, under the Wetlands Protection Act and Dayton Conservation Wetland Protection Bylaw. The Conservation Commission requests the authority to walk on your property to investigate. We ask that you respond to our request to walk your property to investigate said complaint by March 23rd. We will discuss any and all findings of the site visit at our April 20th meeting. And the same, what we usually put, my email and everything, signed by Jim Digit. Actually, it's not my email. Sorry, it's Leanne's email this time, and Leanne's phone number. And signed by Jim. So Tony did come in, asked for a copy. I had emailed a copy to his engineer, Niles, and made him aware of the situation.
This is my Roderick Park.
Yeah. There is a chance.
The Mass Mapper shows that soils east of the stone wall are wetland soils. And we're either gonna confirm it or not. I mean, and if it isn't wetland, it just looks it from the street, but I didn't have permission to go on his property, and so I'm viewing it from the street and using Mass Mapper to view the potential for wetlands much closer to his septic design.
But the ethics opinion I got was that I only needed to disclose this to the commission and I could review it, so. I will be reviewing it. When he files his building permit application, I will be reviewing it. Right now, we have nothing before us for me to walk on the property, except for a request to him that we walk it.
You know, and I told him it's to safeguard, I mean, he's got enough room on the property for everything that he needs. It's a matter of safeguarding him and the property owner down the line that he's gonna sell it to. Okay, is there anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
You have one.
There's a motion to adjourn, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay.